Okay, we are live now. We give God praise. Well, viewers, you are welcome to the Real Talk Show. Well, hello, welcome to the Real Talk Show. Today we have our guest here, but before we go there, we're going to talk about, as the title goes, father's absenteeism and its effects on the child. Father's absenteeism and its effects on the child. It is at home we have fathers who are not home, and we have a lot of people complaining and saying that there's no father in my life. That is why, hence, I'm doing what I'm doing, and the effects that a child suffers when a father is not with them. And for me to look at this is we have. I have my guest here. I have Fanny Emisa, a TV presenter at Home Base. We have Apostle Edwin Otabel, General Overseer, End Time Glory Church USA. And we have our own brother, Mr. Dia Aponsa, CEO, Cutprint Ghana. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So I would dive straight into it as the title goes. I mean, fatherless, fathers not at home, and effects on the children. I'll start, since man of God, you are on the line here. Let me start with the man of God. What is a father role in a child's life? What are the importance of a father's role in a child's life?
You want me to go on?
Yes, please go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I think the first thing, the Bible makes a very important statement. It says, train a child the way he has to go. And when he grows, he will not depart from it. Train a child the way he has to go. And from this, we see that a child cannot train himself. And he also does not know the way he has to go. So somebody must do the training. The father is one who has to do the training. The mother is one who has to do the training. And we see that the role of the father and the mother, even though they are all valuable, but we see also that there are distinctions. The mother's role is distinct, and then the father's role is distinct. And one thing that I see, which we need to realize, is that in life, there is something called experience in life, meaning that you have been at a particular place that somebody has not been. And experience cannot be something you pray for and you get experience. And experience also, you can't go to the shop and go and buy experience.
Okay.
And experience, you cannot just wish it for yourself and get the experience. Experience only comes when you get there. Once you get there and you experience what is there, then you have an experience there. So we see that in the natural course of things, the father is always ahead of the children, because it's the father and the mother that brought the children. So the father has reached a certain place that the child has not reached. So the father is able to bring to bear on the raising of the children his own life experience. Okay. Some of the mistakes that he made, he's able to bring it to them and let them, be able to make right decisions and judgment, even based on his own mistakes. So you see that the role of the father is very, very, very needed and is very necessary in the raising of children.
Okay. That is very good. In fact, there's a lot of questions in there that I'll bring to it. But then, Quincy, I also want to know how do you see a role of a father in a child?
Thank you very much. Basically, as Apostle said, the basic foundation of the role of a father in a child is just the training bit, as Apostle said. The scripture says, train up the child the way he should go. Yeah.
Okay.
So the father's role is basically training, making sure you get the child to the place that you could be proud of, or the child could be proud of later on in life, that at least I did something good with my life. And as Apostle reiterated, he spoke of experience being part of the cycle of training, because you cannot give a child what you don't have. So basically, it's what you've been through. You can use that as a yardstick to make sure that a child makes the right choices in life. So that so it's all about the training bit. So I agree with him.
You're okay. But how can a father train a child if the father himself did not had a training himself?
Okay.
Yeah.
This question is a very precise question, and I think it's an intelligent one, because like I said earlier, confirming what Apostle said, you cannot give something you don't have. So if the father basically did not have any good training, I think the biggest teacher, which is life, gives you enough room for experiences so that you can put that to bear when it happens that you are dealing with a child. So it's neither here nor there whether you had a training yourself or not. Once you're a father now, life is a journey you might have taken, and along the path of life, you might have learned some lessons which I think could be very useful in transferring it down to your children.
Now, before I let you come in, now we are talking about fathers running away from home, or fatherless homes where there are no father in a home. And now it's not easy to be in a life whereby you don't have an option to walk away, you don't have an option to run away, you don't have an option to complain, and whereby the society are expecting you to give your fullest to be the father you never got. So based on that, do you still stand that by experience? Do you get what I mean? So it is not easy to be a father. It is not easy
Yes.
to be a father. It's not easy to be there. And you did not get any training. You did not get anything. But then society expects you to be the father you want to be. You have to be. Reverend, you want to come in there?
Okay. Yes, I can come in here. As my brother said, what's the name again, please?
Kwesi. Yeah.
Yeah, Kwesi. Yeah. You know, experience is a very, very necessary thing in this life. There are so many things in life that a person did not get, but through the experience in life, you are able to know the absence of a father by the absence of your own father. You are able to know the impact on your life. And so the experience gives you a certain way of making correction yourself. Now, you know, having said that, you said that it's not easy to be a father. And I would say that to be the right kind of father is not easy. But if you want to be the wrong kind, you know, you just bring forth children. And if you're unable to handle the pressure, the stress, you bolt away. That is easy to do.
I like that.
But to be able to stand, be able to overcome the challenges and be able to set a good example, it takes the grace of God. And it is the absence of God's grace upon people that make them to run away when the going gets tough. So, so far as, you know, parenting and the man's role is concerned, a man needs to be, you know, he needs to have a heart and mind after Christ, be able to tap into the grace so that he's able to overcome a whole lot of things and be able to set a good example. So the grace factor is very important. And if you miss that, then it becomes a difficult thing. And that is what we are seeing in many men's life. The grace is simply not there. They are facing tough times, challenges, and then they just bolt away, right? They just run away. But grace must be introduced into the family.
Okay, so grace must be introduced into the family. I like that. Actually, that leads me to my second question, but we will come to that. But then, when a father leaves a house, it does not leave a house. Now, how does that affect the home and affect the children? Oh, okay. How does that affect the home and affect the children? Chrissy, you want to come in here?
All right. I think it's an excellent point. I would want to share a thought on the scripture from Psalms 34, 17 to 20. Basically, if I paraphrase it, it's trying to talk about that the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in the spirit. You see, a father is supposed to be there. So basically, if you are not there, you are emotionally torturing your mentee.
Okay.
Basically, that's what it is. You see, someone you have brought into this life, not by the child's choice.
Okay.
Has now landed on earth and needs somebody to look up to. But he's been left in oblivion. He's not seeing anything, nothing. So therefore, you leave him emotionally confused, psychologically disturbed. So the absence of a father in a home brings torture, and it brings confusion. It makes the child lose the sense of focus in life. Because like I said, you can't give what you don't have. And the child has not been a father before. He's a child. Therefore, he needs an image. He needs something he can look up to. He needs something he can grow with. So being absent is a crash to the child's ego, to the child's emotion, to the child's psychology, and everything. So it's not the best.
Okay. I see, Sister Madam Fanny nodding the head. I think you have something to contribute to what he just said.
Definitely. I always say that every father should be a role model to a child. If you can be a role model positively or negatively, because a child copies or learns what you do, and that is what they take out there. So if you are not there, they start looking for father figures everywhere. That is how they end up doing all sorts of things. And then you can, sometimes you don't understand, but you will realize getting closer to the child and then knowing the reason why this person's life has turned a certain way, you realize that there was a chip missing, and that chip, the missing chip, is the father. So you can't bring a child into the world and just say that. Probably they have all sorts of excuses that I mean, the reason why they cannot be there. One, probably I was married and then I got pregnant, I got her pregnant, or I was not ready, or she wasn't my girlfriend. And then sometimes it's like, you know, a whole lot of things just to get away from the fact that they have to be a father. Forgetting that you are creating a gaping hole, a big hole in the child of the father, in the heart or in the child's life. So you bring the child up, right? He didn't ask you to bring. He or she didn't ask you to bring her into the world. It was something between two consenting adults. Whichever way it happened, if you bring them to the world, be there. Be there.
Be there. Okay.
Be there. You have to be there by all means. You have to be there at all costs, even if it's difficult. You see, sometimes they think that you have to have money to take care of a child, but sometimes it is the emotional support that is very the most important thing.
I think we have a technical problem with her network. Oh, okay. All right. So be there. Be there. Let's stick to that point. Be there. There is this one politician in Ghana. He's Kennedy Ejapon. And there is one thing I like about him is that he is very open that he has 22 children or 21 children. I don't have the numbers right. But one thing that he does that I like is that he is in the lives of all his children. He is in their life. So my question is, be it he was my girlfriend or got pregnant accidentally or just one night stand and he got pregnant, doesn't mean that a father must be absent in the child's life. And to be in a child's life, must you be married to the woman for you to be in a child's life? Kwesi, you want to go that?
Yes, it's an excellent question. And I think the point is that, you see, men were created to be progenitors. We give the seed. And remember, with scripture, once you have given the seed, you are responsible for that seed. Whether it was a girlfriend relationship, whether it was a girlfriend relationship, whether it was a marital relationship, whether it was a one-off thing, whether it was a casual thing, whatever. You see, your seed is your fruit. You see, it takes a seed to grow to become a fruit. Without no seed, there's no fruit. You understand? And once you plant a seed on the soil, you have to nurture it. Make sure that the seed grows into a good fruit so that you can eat the fruit therein. So you can't just plant a seed on the ground and then when it starts blossoming, then you are running away. Where are you running away to? It is your responsibility. Who put it there? You. So it doesn't matter whether you were not married to her. It doesn't matter whether you did. You see, there's a point I always talk about. If men could acknowledge the fact that God made us progenitors, we are the ones that create the seeds, and we would take responsibility of the seed, there would not be so much problem and chaos in the world. Most people are afraid. It's all about ego massaging. You understand? You see, scripture talks about an unbeliever, somebody who does not take care of the home. The Bible says a person like that can be termed as he has denied the faith, and he's worse off than an unbeliever. Trust me, there are a lot of believers, so-called believers now, who have neglected their duties and they are still saying they are Christians. It's unheard of. It's unheard of. You see, I quoted a scripture earlier that said that Psalm 34, 17 to 20. It says, the Lord is near the brokenhearted and save the Christ in spirit. You see, your absence is creating a vacuum. If you are man enough, to put your thing somewhere to create a seed, why shouldn't you be man enough to water it? You see, so it's like I say all the time, it's all about ego massaging. People trying to satisfy their egos. You see, you should let your wife know that your seed is your seed. Marriage can collapse, but your child will always be yours. And that is what you are going to be responsible for. Whether you die or you live till Christ comes. So men, stop running away and take responsibility of our children. You see, that is why I endorse Honorable's point that you chipped in. He's happy. He has 22 children, and he's happy watering the seed to become a fruit, so that tomorrow somebody can eat that fruit and be happy. Why are men running away from their responsibilities? The fact that you are married and you had an extramarital affair does not cancel the fact that you are the progenitor of that seed. It is your responsibility, and you are going to be judged for it. If you neglect and the child is crushed in the spirit, you will pay dearly for that. Honestly, trust me.
Wow.
It will happen.
Reverend, before I let you come in, Reverend he asked a question, and I want us to dwell. He said, why are men running away? And we did mention about how Kennedy Japan is a politician, but he has bluntly admitted, regardless, he has not amended the children at his Wikipedia or anything. Now, some men will say that because of my political career, because of my status in society, because of what I am pursuing, because of my calling in Christ, because of this, I don't want to attach. It will be a shame. How did your seed become a shame because of your political career? What about, please throw some light on that for me.
Yeah, I think that the issue has been brought out, very, very plainly. That your children, they are your making.
That's right.
They are your seed.
Yes.
That you don't have any option. There is no excuse, and there is nothing you can use to back out from their lives. It does not work. And we should not even allow it to become something that men will have it in their mind, that there's a reason why I will not look after my own seed. It should be made so straight and so plain that if you bring forth a child into this world, no matter the circumstance, you are the one who has to take responsibility for that child. And let me say something. You see, in this life, errors can be made. But when errors are made, then they have to be corrected. So we cannot use the idea that this is an error which was made, and therefore we let the error just continue that way. If it is an error, you have to correct it. So there is no way, there is no option of getting out of the child that you have brought into this world by any excuse. There's no excuse for that.
So, General Apostle Otabel said there is no excuse. If you are watching us, share the video. Let somebody hear this. Let's be the voice for the voiceless. Those are the children, and that is my number one goal. Let's be a voice for the voiceless. That's the children. Now, let me go to my question. That leads me. Yeah, people who do not know, Apostle, you are talking about grace. You talked about the grace of God. Now, there are some people, they don't know the grace that God gave you for you to come and survive the abuse and the neglect and the rejection that this father left. And by the grace of God, you have become somebody in society. You did not fail to the statistics of alcoholism, being criminal, because when there is no a mentor, a father in your life, it is very common to step into those things. And if the grace that you mentioned, you came through. Now, you will hear some faith believers or some people, they will say that if your father have taken care of you, you might be a weed smoker. If your father have taken care of you, so it is good that he wasn't in your life. You want to throw some light on that for me, please?
I haven't heard of this this saying that
Papa Shewanka, Papa Shewanka, one ye, Papa Shewanka, one ye to say the why ye.
Oh no! It isn't. I don't know who conceived that saying, but that is not the issue. You see, the Bible says that where sin abounds, grace abounds more. So the question is, if there is grace, should we continue to sin? Then Paul said, no, that is not the case. But the grace of God always abounds in the weakness of man. So where man is weak, there is greater grace to overcome that weakness. So in the first place, the father ought to access the grace of God, be able to survive everything, and raise up the children the way they ought to. That is what the grace has to be used for. And not, that the father will run away and create a situation where grace will be more, that somebody will come out and be greater or better. That is not how the grace is applied. It is received from the beginning. As a father, you ought to have the grace to overcome the struggle and to overcome the issues that will make others run away. You will stay put, and by the grace that is upon you, you'll be able to raise up the child, and then God will get the glory. But we know in practical life, in reality, that is not what happens. Yes, some people are weak, some don't know the Lord, and then a whole lot of things go on. And God is saying that even when the worst happens, His grace will be sufficient to make something good out of a bad situation.
Wow, His grace will be sufficient. Now, I know, Brother Kwesi, you would definitely like to comment on this question that I said, that when you come out successfully, now somebody somewhere will say, if you don't worry, it's a kind of soothing and comfortable encouragement one would like to give you. Is that it is okay that your father left you. It is okay your father never took care of you. Maybe you never know. If he took care of you, you won't be where you are. Brother Kwesi, what do you say to that?
I really object to that point. You see, destiny is a broader topic. There are people that their fathers took care of them, but they ended up miserably with nothing. And there are people that they did not have any father in their life, but they are better off. So right. It is not a matter of whether your father took care of you or not. You see, life is a journey. When you get the dots right, your life is easier. But when you don't get the dots right, you struggle to get the drawing correct.
Okay.
You see, life is a journey. It always comes in dots that you can't see. You can't see at hand sight what the next dot, the line, is going to turn into. So you have to cautiously find the dots and then put it in. If you are able to connect the dots well, your life is easier, right? But if you're not able to connect it well, it's a little hassle to go through. It doesn't really matter whether it's your father's decision. People were taken to Harvard by their fathers. They got the best of education. But today, they are either broke, chain smokers, drunkards, cocaine addicts. They have nothing to their name. People's fathers were rich. They left monies and huge wealth to their children. Today, the children have sold everything and they are broke. So was it good for their fathers to be there, or was it bad or better if their fathers were not? It's a decision. It's a decision. You see, people will have to diffuse the mentality that if my father was there, I would have been better off. It's a negative notion. It's a lie from the pit of hell. Because you see, when God created you, he gave you a destiny, a destination, a place of rest, a place you have to get to. Like I said, it is in dots. It's a dotted graph. Till you get the lines right, it won't be easy. You have to hustle to get the lines right. So if a father is there, it eases your burden in finding the dots to get the right drawing, to get the rest. You understand? So we should diffuse that mentality. Somebody can be greater without the father, and somebody can be poorer and broke with the father. So it is not about the father. But if the father is around, it makes the journey easier. Because your father, through experience, will tell you at hindsight that this dot you want to connect is not the right dot. Take it through the back and it will be better. That is why fathers are important in the training up of a child's life.
That being said, then the dots can be connected with, like, say, career decision making. Like, say, you are in school, you want to do something with your life. I mean, you can't go on the street and ask somebody. So sometimes what children need is not the money. Some fathers think that they have to have Bentley and have to riches. But to be honest with you, what a child needs is daddy to read me a book for me to sleep. And that costs you nothing. And what a child needs, your present and you being there to answer questions. Now, Fanny, let me ask you, how does a child heal from such wounds? How does a child heal from such wounds where a father is absent?
Oh, I hope I heard you.
Yeah. How does a child heal from the absence of a father? How does a child heal? Can you hear me?
Keeps freezing.
Okay.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. If you can, if you can.
How does a child heal from the wounds? How does a child come out of all these things, of the pain and the wounds that the father causes? The absence of a father causes them.
How does he come out?
Yeah, how does a child heal?
Is that the question?
Yeah. Okay. Let me go to a Reverend, and then I'll take the mic. Reverend, if you heard me right, how does a child heal from all the emptiness a father causes?
Yeah. This is a very loaded question that also needs a loaded answer. It's not simple. It's not just straightforward one thing. And as we have said already, a father's absence, it creates a hole. And the way children deal with it also differs from one child to another. Some will be terribly wounded, they will be hurt, they will rebel, they will do all kinds of things, they will go into wrong company, they will adapt wrong habits, and it is all a reaction to a father's absence.
Okay.
So the wound, varies from one to the other. Some also will be able to take it in their stride and then move on. But in all these, it has to be acknowledged that children who have fathers that left them will be wounded by all means. Spiritually, mentally, psychologically, it will create a whole lot of problems.
Yeah.
Now we come to, how are we going to bring out these young ones? How are we going to bring healing to their wounds? And I think that this is something that will take counseling. It's not just you just get up and say, oh, don't worry, your father left you, things are bad, don't mind him, just go along in life. No, that is not the way.
Wow.
We have to be able to have time for the children that have been wounded. Spiritual counseling will be good. Now, if the other parent also, if he's able and capable, will be able to explain to the child to understand the issues surrounding the problems that they are having. And then this is where the Bible becomes a very important document. will be able to bring the Bible and bring the teachings of the Bible, bring the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, and let them know that it is for the sins of the fathers, the mothers, and our sins that have brought so much harm and so much pain to us. But that God so loved us, he made a sacrifice for us that will be able to remove the pains that we are enduring. So we'll be able to bring the gospel and bring unto the people that are wounded, for them to understand that Jesus was wounded for our transgression, bruised for our iniquities.
That's
and
right.
all our burdens were placed on him. And if we put our trust in him, he is going to heal our hearts, he's going to heal our spirit. So here, the gospel must be plainly explained, because it is a gospel that answers the human mess. What Christ has done is the only thing that removes the pain that we have. And once the children come to understand it, they will be able to process their own situation. And with time, they will be able to overcome the wound and the pain and the other things.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know it was a loaded question. Now, before I let Fanny, I know you are nodding your head. You have your chance to say something. But then, before we come to that, sometimes when some of these fathers, when they behave this way, and let me use the word again, the grace of God, you survive. Now they behave like you owe them an apology. They behave like you have to go back and beg them. They forgo their responsibility. They refuse to be responsible fathers. They neglected you. They left you, and you did not become the disgrace maybe they hoped for. You did not become disgrace for society. Now they make you feel like you owe them apology. They make you feel that it is your fault that you fail. I know all the three of you are nodding there, but we'll give the chance to Fanny to say something first.
Okay, what I would say is that most of the time, like say a child who has been neglected or has been with just the mother or absentee father and all that, like the first person said, I've forgotten because I'm going in and out of it. I have not gotten a grip on the names. A classic example is somebody who was very close to me. All along growing up, he thought that this particular person they say is my father. He didn't know that his real father was a neighbor who is supposed to be an uncle, or a neighbor who is supposed to be a grandfather. So, like your father, the one who is supposed to be your father, had a child, the first child with the guy's mother, and then so he is the second child, and thinking that my father is the first, like my sister's father, we share the same father, not knowing that it was an uncle. So, yeah. So he grew up and then wanted to come home and all that. And then, you see, the man knows his children. Right? Even if he has 15 of them, all the ladies and the guys look like the man. But this particular one looks like somebody in the family. But you see, everybody in the family knew, all the elderly people in the family knew very well that this child is not for this our son or our nephew. Yet they all kept quiet. They all kept quiet. So the man passed, and then the guy also was around, as in papa and blah 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 blah. But everybody knew. Now that uncle who was supposed to be the father was there. So somebody asked him, "Do you know this boy?" He said, "Yes." "Where?" "In my area." "Really?" But the guy told him, "I know you, I know your children, I know this, I know." But you see, when you look at the man and that boy, they had a striking resemblance. Yet you refused him and stuck it on the neck of your nephew. A boy like this, you know what? He was the worst thief you can ever think of. Every bad thing he had done it. All the bad things he had done it. He said one day he was at the prison and the prison ministry came to minister to them. And then he felt in his spirit that I am hurting some people that do not deserve my kind of behavior. I know there's something wrong, but if I don't get closer to them, I will not know. So he got closer to them. And then he realized somehow along or somewhere, he realized that the man who had just passed is not his father. So he was asking himself, who is my father? Then one day, that supposed father also died because somebody said, if you don't tell this boy that this is your father, and that one too passes because his mom is dead, that supposed father is dead. Now, this one too is sick and probably also will be going.
Mm-hmm.
Tell him before it is too late. You know what? Nobody wanted to tell him. But I must take the courage to tell him that. He said, you know what? I knew this all along that the one that I have been told is my father is not my father. I believe, so I showed him the picture of the one who is supposed to be not the one that he said is the father, but the real father. He said, I had it in my spirit. I said, so do you understand where the missing chip was? He said, yes. He was a thief. He did all the bad things. Now, he said, I don't need his name because he did not add anything to me in life. He caused me pain. He caused me embarrassment. He caused me everything that I am not supposed to see and to refer somebody as a father. So I don't even want to bear his name, and I don't even want to be there. Now to God be the glory. The boy said, fine, I will not let this one define me. I am taking to God's, or I'm taking to the cross. That is what I want. And to God be the glory. He's now a pastor.
Oh, okay.
So until you heal yourself, there are people who cannot heal themselves. There are people who have, like, even their surroundings is not conducive enough for them to even heal, or proper, because more often than not, people will be throwing in, oh, he's a bastard, oh, he's this. But when your surroundings are good and the people around you are also good, the healing becomes very easy. And then the best place you can find yourself is in God's house.
Well, you see, it's in God's house. Let's go back into the God's house. Kwesi, I'm coming to you. You see, some people you will use the name of God, Jesus. Look, at the mention of the name Jesus, listen, things will happen. We know that. But emotional scar and the abuse of a father, you see, some people will ignore the pain, and because they don't see, they ignore everything, and they say, oh, go and make amends. You just go and say sorry to him and let go, let go. And you see,
especially when you are going to marry, especially when you are about to marry, that is when they tell you.
Yes. So especially sometimes you think that your path will not cross, but regardless, there are certain customs in Ghana, in Africa, that when you are going to get married, you will need the presence of a father, and then this pain is there. We see. I'll say something about it.
I love what Pastor Otabil said. I love what Fanny has just said. You see, 3 things I want us to know. Number 1, healing is psychological. Healing starts from the mind. So therefore, whoever has offended whoever, there has to be restitution. You see, if you don't confront it, you can never get healed. It has to be discussed. It has to be spoken about. You see, scars are such that whether you are religious, atheist, or you don't believe in anything at all, you still have a scar. Scars stays with you for life. It is whether you decide to pretend it's not there or there. Michael Jackson, when his career started very young, and his father denied him the childhood entertainments and energies, when he became rich and he was grown, he went back for those things. There are stages in life you can't jump. Life is a lesson. You have to deal with it. You see, so the fathers who think that you would have to go and beg them is an emotional massage. It's an ego thing they are playing. But you see, posterity will judge them. When you talk about healing, like I said, healing is psychological. That is why I agree totally with Pastor Otabe. You need a counselor if you can't heal yourself. And the counselor will help you, guide you through the processes that could open up the Pandora's box for answers to be given so that healing can start. You see, it is when you confront it, then you can start a healing process. That is why some people are not able to bounce back, because they may not be that strong. They need a mentor, a mentee, somebody to just hold their hands along the way. Therefore, a counselor is very important. You see, and like Fanny said, till the guy confronted the father, the healing process would never, even though he had been a pastor, it will still not work. There are people who are reverend ministers, but they are living with scars because they have not confronted those scars. That's why I said that you should not, you see, Adam, if you go through the Bible, Adam's biggest problem was not admitting to God that he had made a mistake, but rather he was trying to blame Eve for his action. And that was the baddest thing he should have done. He shouldn't have even gone there. You see, you were confronted with something you have done. Admit, God, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I listened to my wife. I'm sorry. The story of the world would have changed. It wouldn't have been like this by now. But instead of him admitting, even though God was confronting him, he was rather blaming somebody, trying to push the blame. The same way as you are saying, in this culture of ours, we tend to think sometimes that the child is always wrong and the eldest one is always right. It's a naysay. You see, confront the issue, confront it. You see, and so bizarrely, when they are at the end of their lives, then they want to make amends and make peace. When they are about to die, then they want issues to be discussed. But why couldn't you do it when you are living? Let me give you a classical example. You are a married man. You go have fun and then you have a kid. Right. And then you think that is either you are afraid of your wife or what society will say about you. You tend to put a blind eye to that child. And then you live happily with your formal home as if they are the only seeds you have. You are lying to yourself. Because the very thing you are trying to protect would come back at you big time. That you will see that all that you were protecting was useless. Because if you were afraid of telling your wife that you have gotten somebody pregnant and the person has given birth, because your wife might leave you, later on in life, when you have made all the money, you've made all the riches, and then the wife gets to know, the same reaction you were running away from in the beginning will happen big time now. And now it will be 3 times.
Wow.
You might lose everything. So let's stop pretending. Whether you're a believer, an atheist, or whoever, your seed is your responsibility. Okay? There are a lot of people walking around with curses on their heads. Things are not going simply because somebody is crying on their head. And you would rise on the academic ladder to the top. You will be in the corporate world. People, your colleagues in the same field will be succeeding, but you would not. And you would think that it is your old lady in the house who is affecting your life. You've forgotten that somebody somewhere who is crying for a father. And you see, interestingly, destiny has a nice way of crossing paths. Destiny has a very beautiful way of making you responsible for your actions. There are people who have slept with their children in the diaspora, whether they traveled or something. You see, you run away from the child. The child grows beautifully with the help of the mother. She's an academic, somebody. But because blood is thicker than water, you see that when you meet, there's an attraction you cannot explain. There's something that binds the two of you. You may think the person is your soulmate. So you may, because why is it that I feel this strong bond with you? In the end, it turns out to be that he was your daughter. See how stupidly you have behaved. So it is, let's, as men, we should stop massaging our egos and face reality. Confront the issues. Because your wife will leave you, but your child is your responsibility. My God. Don't run away. Now, you see, like Apostle said, always God, always God. There are people who are not Christians who are also going through the same challenges. You understand? So the best thing, like I said, is number one, confront the issues, discuss it, so that healing can start. You see, if you happen to be a believer, then you have a double profit that the Bible can give you good lessons, so that your psychological health and everything could be better shaped in a good way. Other than that, healing doesn't start. You see, when you do an exam and then you are marked wrong, and you are not given the chance to do a correction, how do you learn from the mistakes you made? You cannot learn. So as men, we should stop allowing ourselves to be cursed because we want our pride, our ego. I'm a politician. And so what? Didn't you know that you were married? Didn't you know that you had children when you were frolicking around with other kids, other girls, and then you were having fun? So if you have a seed now, admit it is your child. After all, your wife can't kill you. And then you wait till you are about to die. Then you'll be calling people. I'm sorry. Go and tell this one that it's my child. I made a mistake.
Can I come in here?
Yes, come in.
Can I come in? Okay. Don't you think that it is because we have always told the women that they say cheating is part of men. Cheating is with men. And then, you know, some of these men also neglect the children just to spite the woman. And it is most of the time a fellow man who also tell you, oh, don't mind her. If she will not give the child to you, okay, I don't want to be with you again. So if you don't want to be with me again, then I'm taking my child. The woman wants company. The woman wants to be with the child. So the next thing is that okay, if you will take the child, what forgetting that it is your child, that one day, like Apostle said, it will come back to bite you. It will come back to bite you. For you know, you might not know, or you do not know that this is my child. Like you say, blood is thicker than water. You might get attracted to something. You see her, there's something about her that is attractive. You might not ask a whole lot of questions. Probably the mother will also shield the child from the father, will not tell her much about the father. So it ends up, a father ends up sleeping with the daughter. Or the man finds the guy somewhere and he's like, hey, probably he now has the money. And now you have come from grass to grass. And then probably he's sitting on TV or somewhere like that. Or you wish you would say, Nanka or Yamiba. There's nothing like Nanka or Yamiba. Woba or Yawoba.
That's right.
No matter what, Woba no or Yawoba.
That's right.
But I'm asking that if I am not able to make it and I come, sometimes it is also the fault of some of the women that these men get married to. You know your husband has a child before you married him. Help the man. Talk to the man. Let him take care of the child. But they will not do it.
Okay. So now stick to that.
One, because that child is probably older than their children.
Fanny, I'll come back to you. There is Jonathan. Is this Jonathan Tebiri is with us all along, and I'm telling you, yeah, I wish I have her here so that she can join us. She have a question. She said, "How do we approach fathers as children to tell them of how they have wronged us as children?" I think we have gone around that, but let us try to answer this question for Jonathan. He said,
do not be afraid to approach your father. If your mother, you see, sometimes the mothers get hurt when you don't let them know that I want to approach my father. If you are going to approach him to let him know that he has caused you pain, it's different than you are going for him to. Most of the time, they want their fathers to take care of them. That's why they are going. They know my mother is suffering, but I want to go to my father to see if he can help me. That is when the man is in good standing. Sometimes I used to co-host a program that there were a lot of stories like this that come. People want to have something to do with their fathers. They want to know who their father is or to see them. And then they go there and sometimes somebody is blocking them. You see, say, we are not accepted. This is another woman doing this to another woman's child. You know, blocking you.
Let me hold. Go ahead.
Be bold. Confront them. If it's just you just want him to know that he has wronged you, just go. Be bold. I'm not saying that be rude. Don't go and talk to him anyhow. I came here to talk to you that I am your son, but I want you to know that I would have wished that you were in my life. But since you were not there, you have caused me so much pain that I started looking for a father figure almost all over the place. I believe that without you, my life is or was like this. But I rose above it and I'm becoming a better person. But all I want you to say is that if you have forgotten about me, I am still your daughter. Probably I don't need you in my life, but I just want to make you aware that I am the one you abandoned. Okay. And that stone that you left there has become a cornerstone.
Let me keep this in. Jonathan, if you are hearing me, let me share this, and then I will let Pastor Utabal come in. You see, how do we approach father as a child? Sometimes it is very good to get somebody in the family or get an elderly person who will lead you to do such things. But you know, in my personal experience and some things that I know, you know, sometimes a child will look for somebody to lead them. And some of the report that we get is that, why are you bringing somebody or a third person to disgrace me? Now you reaching out for somebody to go look for help. Now they make you feel like now you are washing their dirty. I mean, sometimes you get confused. You know, sometimes you carry their name, like maybe they are politicians, they are doctors, they are big men in society. And there is no way you can approach them. And you are using the right approach, going to see a bishop or going to see somebody also dignified that can lead you to do the right thing. Now, you are doing the right thing. After they talk to the person, they turn to you. How dare you? Then you go like, oh, what should the child do? What should the child do? Now, the child is doing the right thing. When the child comes in by himself, he's disrespectful. Okay, the child is looking for somebody through an ugly channel. Now, how dare you? So many children are confused. Pastor Otaba, do you want to add something to it, please?
Yeah, I think that the person who asks the question asks a very important question. How do we approach fathers as children to tell them of how they have wronged us as children? And we know that the step to healing begins with that. You know, we should be able to let the other person know and understand what we are feeling from what they have done. It has to be the first step to the healing process, especially in the life of the one who has become a victim. And the approach is what we need to consider. First of all, if the mother is able to do it, first talk to your mother first. If he's able to do it, you'll be able to arrange for such a meeting for the child to let the father know. Now, if the mother is unable to do it, then the mother can also take the initiative and make an alternate arrangement, either a family member, somebody who can be trusted to do that arrangement. If it doesn't happen that way, then maybe he would go to your pastor or a minister that is trusted by you to lead in that process. But I think that this very first step must be taken very seriously. We cannot go around it for healing to happen. It will not happen. We cannot ignore it or pretend that it didn't happen and the healing will happen. It won't happen. This first step must by all means be taken. And so these are the steps that can be taken. And especially if you contact a minister or a counselor, you'll be able to add prayer to this and then make it an urgent step to take.
Good. So if you are hearing us and watching us, listen, Jonathan, I think we have answered, help with your question. In fact, you are contributing. It's very interesting here. And there is nothing wrong you being a Christian or a prayerful person seeking for professional help. There is nothing wrong with it at all, because the church building that we go to church is filled with professionals. And we are grateful to mention Mr. So-so and so-so is a doctor, Mr. So-so and so-so. And when they are bringing the tithes and the income, we are happy. But when we talk about professionals, we talk about, Jesus is everything. Yes, Jesus is everything. But sometimes there are certain details that you need a professional help. There are counselors, there are psychologists, there are a whole lot of them. They are there. As I'm speaking to you right now, I'm a counselor myself. I'm still studying. I'm in school. You understand? So there's nothing wrong to go seek for professional help. Now, Kwesi, I'll come to you. And then a while to answer that question. Now, I think we've mentioned it. Some men use the offenses of their wife to punish the whole house and punish the children. Some offenses that the children have no idea where it came from, the pain, maybe even before the child was conceived. Maybe before the child was born, this child have no voice to find out what was wrong, and this child was born into this hatred, and because the man have this hatred for this woman, he have included the children. Can you address to that to me?
Yes, it's a very practical thing.
Yes,
that is very ongoing, and it's going on a lot. But as we were talking earlier, I still want to drum home the point that every man who has been able to get a woman pregnant should be responsible for that seed.
That's right.
You see, ego massage and societal indifferences that would cause you to have a stand, to take a stand on something. The very thing you think you are protecting will come back to hit your face real hard later in your life. So it is always better to seek counseling to address the issues. Because you see, if men would admit that it is their responsibilities to take care of their children, whether in wedlock, out of wedlock, by girlfriend, by boyfriend, anyway.
Kwesi, sorry, I'm sorry to cut you here. I think that has been discussed. But what I'm saying is this: the offenses between your mother, the mother and the father. You see, how can I think we men should be able to excuse the children? You see where I'm coming from? We men should be able to excuse the children from whatever offenses we have with our spouses, so that we don't include the children. Because of that, me might chop money. And even some fathers will say, if I give you the money, you go and give it to your mother, because of the common deal.
Exactly. Exactly. So you see, I am coming back.
Okay.
It's all an ego expression.
Okay.
You see, like you rightly put it, he's trying to punish you in a reflection of what the mother is doing, or whatever indifference they have. You are now a stick he's using to whip the mother. You see, which is a bad point. Like I said, it will come back to you. And you see, it's sad that men continue to do these things. And it is not going to stop. It will continue unless they have a change of mind, an orientation, a different kind of mindset. That is what I was trying to preach. It is of no fault of the child that you had a fallout with the mother. It is of no fault of his. He didn't choose to be in between the two of you. You brought him into the picture. So the child has no locus trying to come to get you to make peace with his mother, or to try and get a gap or something to fill in the blank. No. So every father who is doing this should bow their heads down in shame, because it is your responsibility. Whether the mother cheated, whether there was an issue, whether you were sad, whether anything, the child has nothing to do with it. So it is not in the child's interest to come and tell you, Daddy, please forgive my mother. Whether my mother did, no. Let me give an example. If that child supposed to become a billionaire tomorrow, would the man still look at whatever indifference he had with the mother? Would he? No. He would now be trying to attach himself to the glory and the faith that is coming from you, forgetting that he was the same person who said your mother cheated on him. Therefore, he was going to punish you for it. So you see that as men, we have no excuse for those kind of attitudes. Therefore, the child has no business trying to make peace so that the father. You see, when a man becomes emotional, they want to use every medium they have at disposal to make a statement. And that the notion that I think is too long to men. Because like I said, if you were man enough to get another woman pregnant, why shouldn't you be man enough to her?
Okay.
because posterity will judge you, and whether you like it or not, it will come to your face one day.
Okay, all right. I think
yes, you'll be punished for that.
I think the point is clear here, and our time is fast spent. And if you just join us, you can ask your question to the panelists, and I will make sure that we will answer them to you for you. And if you have a contribution also, you can write them down and I will read them to you. And let me read something from Jonathan again. After answering that question, he said, talk to mom to arrange a meeting. 2, a family can also be consulted for assistance. 3, when all the 2 fail, you approach a pastor. Bless you, panelists. Okay, that was taken in faith. Listen to me. What we are doing, I say, is not about how many. If we are discussing fake pastors, fake this, like we will get a lot of volume here. But you see, what we are doing is not about volume. It's about impact. And we don't want to trend. Jesus Christ is already trending. So we don't want to discuss something to trend. We want to bring something to educate, to impact, to bring healing. And that's all we are doing here. Now, before I come to you, Pastor Otabel, now, what happened in the US? Floyd, because you are in the States, what happened to Floyd? And Floyd was saying he can't breathe. He can't breathe. Whilst I was putting this program together, I came to realize that a lot of single Black women, single parents cannot breathe because of the actions of the fathers who just ran away. Running away from home, to me, it seems like your knee is on this woman's neck.
Yeah.
And you see a man like LeBron James will be standing tall and said, I'm proud of my mama. And as if there is no a father who made this guy.
Yeah.
So before I give you the platform to talk, mother, single parents that you are taking care of your children, I salute to you. You can't breathe, and with God be your help, from today you start breathing. Keep on keeping what you're doing. And
Amen.
We are here to confront the actions, and I know some men will come home when they come to a point of realization. Pastor, take over, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, I'm normally in the US, but right now I'm in Accra, Ghana. I came for a short visit and I got locked out. Yeah, but all is well right here. Yeah, now the point that you raised is very important to me. After we have done all this discussion, I think one thing that we need to be looking forward to is that there is the need for a new breed of fathers. You know, we have had the fathers of the old kind that bolted away, found some excuse and ran away. You could not see them. They are not in the children's life. And it has gone on for a very long time. What we need now is a new breed of fathers. And that is what I am praying for and I am believing God for. And you see, if you read Jeremiah 18, verse 1-6, God spoke to Jeremiah and he said, go to the potter's house and there I will show you my project. God is working on project. Absentee fathers, fathers who failed, who could not make it, they are God's next project. And when Jeremiah went there, he said he saw the potter at the wheel and he was making a vessel out of clay. If he does it, it doesn't work well, he doesn't throw it away, but then he remakes it until he does exactly what will suit him. And God asked a question, Israel, are you not in my hands as the clay is in the potter's hand? So I want absentee fathers and all the old kind of fathers we have to know, I want them to know that God is working on them. He has not departed from them. They departed from their children, but God has not departed from them. And God will lay his hand on them and form them into a new breed of fathers whose heart and mind is after Jesus. And they will stay to do the work that was committed to them when they became fathers. So there is hope for all the fathers that are in the land. And no matter what, wrong they have done, no matter what evil they have done, God is looking for them to mold them into a new breed of fathers.
Thank you so much. And if you're a father and you are watching this, our motive here is not to come bash fathers or saying that we are the best on the panelists here, we are doing right. No, I mean, we are not here to bash anybody, but we are people that we have come to a point of realization to go back and assume our responsibilities, to say sorry to our wives and try to pray for healing of the wounds and trying to do the right thing. And we are not trying to run away from our responsibility so that the chain that we inherited from our fathers will be carried on to our generation. And if our forefathers and our fathers were not able to stand in the gap, like Pastor said, God is raising new breed of fathers who will say, listen to me, it's not about me, but it's for my generation. So we will stand in the gap that there will be no repetition in my generation. So it's not like we are bashing anybody, but we are here. The children are crying, and they need help. Not, you think everything is money, but sometimes they just need somebody to talk to. And that is all that we are saying here. And now let me go to Jonathan's question again. It's a question. It is right. Is it right to always let go of pain caused in the past, even when it has not been resolved thoroughly? Fanny, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, I would like that. There's something called closure. You definitely have to have a closure on whatever issue that happened that has caused you the pain or the misunderstanding, the rift, whichever way it is. It is not only in relationship, but whichever way, wherever, every part of our lives, there is definitely supposed to be a closure, because there are a lot of people who are brooding. They cannot let go because you did not let me say my part of it. You said I should just let go and let God. Okay, I will let go and let God, but I'll be brooding inside. The pain is still there. But I think that if you allowed me to tell you the reason why this happened, because nothing happens without a reason. You might have accused me of something that I have not done, but because you did not allow me to tell you or why, what led to whatever happened, and then you say I should just keep quiet, will cause me that pain. But if you sit me down and then you sit, maybe probably the next person, or if it's a whole bunch of people, we sit down and we talk about it. You see, it will end in tears. We will cry. After that, we move on. We will hug it out and then whatever. But if you don't do that one and you tell me, forget, even if it's not resolved, no, but if you don't step on the person. But
well, I think
because we have been made to
we have a technical issues. Brother Kwesi, do you want to pick it up from there?
Yes, always comes to a prepared mind. Healing always comes to a prepared mind. Okay. I always stated earlier that all these things are psychological. It's all in the mind.
Okay.
You see, you need to be helped to come to the point where you need healing. Therefore, you can open yourself up for healing process to start.
Yeah.
So therefore,
okay, we are having technical issues.
It is always good to discuss the issue. Iron it out, discuss it. The understanding. Just make sure that there's an understanding so that the healing process can start.
Okay.
People harbor ill feelings.
Okay.
People harbor guilt. Earlier, Apostle Otabil said something that children rebel because they had no fathers in their life. They tend to look for father figures in different places, and then they in the wrong hands, and then a lot of things happen to them. But God being so good and destiny being very, very sharp on point, at a point, brings them to the point of realization. Therefore,
yeah. Okay, we are having a network issue. I think we are having a network issue here. Now, I think Jonathan, we have answered your question and that. And now I think our time is up. Let us begin to wrap up. Now, let me. I think.
Please, can you give me a minute to add something to Jonathan's question, because it's very important.
Please go ahead.
Yes, what I want to say is that, see, so long as a person has anger, bitterness, and unforgiveness in them, they are the ones who are suffering, and not the other person who caused the pain.
Okay.
So the anger, unforgiveness, the bitterness in us must be taken away. And that is where, with good counseling, we are able to make people to become aware that forgiving somebody doesn't mean they didn't do the harm. No, it means that the harm that they did can be healed by the one who is doing the forgiving. So whether the issue has been resolved, the person has repented or asked for forgiveness or not, you, the person who wants to be healed, who wants to remove anger, bitterness, and everything in you, you have to do it through forgiving the person who hurt you. Then you can move on to a better life.
Wow. So Jonathan, you've heard the answer. That means you can start healing by first dealing with yourself and forgiving. You let it go, not for him, but you let it go for you, so that you can move on. And if you are moving on, that means there's no blockage. Now, our final words, each of you, I'll let you say something before we go. Now, we shouldn't forget also the fathers, which I think that Reverend Otabel, you started saying that, and he said, maybe as we are talking right now, somebody have come to his senses, have come to realize that, listen to me, let me be responsible. Now, how does the father ease his way back into the family? How does the father ease his way back into the child's life? Your last word, and then we out of here.
Oh, okay. Well, let me start with it. Now, the father, because of the role and the place that the father plays in any family, a father coming back depends on the father who is coming back. If the father decides, I have done wrong, I am going to own up to my wrong, I'm going to my family, the woman I did wrong, the children I did wrong, and tell them, yes, I have done wrong, so they should forgive me. I'm coming to play my part in this family. I think that the family is looking forward to that. Like the prodigal son, when he left, the father was always looking forward to the child returning. So the child is always looking forward to the father coming back. Then the woman, everybody is looking forward. So if a man decides, even today, I have to go back, God will go with you and you will make good where you did wrong.
Brother Kwesi.
I think it's an excellent point. Fathers, like I said, I stated it earlier, that later on in their life, then they want to come back. Well, they are welcome, but restitution has to be made. So the father who wants to come back should be ready to be confronted with whatever happened in the past. You understand? The scars are still there and fresh. And until it is resolved, discussed thoroughly for healing to start, he cannot come back. You don't just walk into somebody's life just like that. Just come, I have come. It doesn't happen. You see, something has to be discussed. And until those things are ironed out, healing cannot start. So when they are ironed out, then you are now ready to be accepted. Then the family will accept you back. So to every father who wants to come back, which is a very good thing for them to do, I hope it's not too late for them. Because in life, you can never tell. Sometimes you wish to do something, the next minute you are gone. And you can never know. So if they have thought of doing it, they should do it now. And then they should start to confess. Confession and restitution is the best way to heal. So when you do that, then your family can forgive you, and then you can be accepted back into the family. You can't force your way through. You can't force your way through. Admit, confess, so that you can be forgiven, and then you can have your family back. God bless us all.
God bless us. Fanny, your last words.
Yeah, like we are saying, they at the end of it all, they want to come back home.
That's
Why
right.
not now? What I'm saying is that you do not wait till you are all old and wrinkled and you are like, that is when you want to come back. You come when they are young, in their formative ages, so that at least they will have an image of a father, a very good father, to build up their lives upon. But you don't wait and then you go and chop everything elsewhere. And then when you fall sick, they bundle you up and then they bring you back to the very woman that you disrespected or you threw away, and then caused her pain and everything. It is true. Come, resolve things. Let down that ego. Get off that high horse. Come home. And then sit everybody down. Talk to everybody. It doesn't take anything away from you. It will not make you less of a man. Go. Why? This is my wife. And then the woman too. You see, the woman too. Sometimes the man cannot go and accept the child and beg without the knowledge of the new wife or whoever he's married to now. Tell him, I have children, or hey, I have children. I know I left her. Probably he left that woman for you. Now he's grown up and he wants to be with the children. You have prevented this thing. How long can you do it? So far as the children are bearing his name, just allow him to go. Because so we women too should also put other people into consideration that so far as that woman was, it doesn't matter whether it was outside wedlock or whatever. It's a child who doesn't know anything about it. So accept them. And how nice would it be if you have children from other women? It doesn't but the child doesn't know anything. Bring them all together and then let the father be there to take care of all of them. Else, and then we should also stop saying that the men always turn their heads and then they say that we have always accepted that say and I say you father, you walk to your child and the child tells you, I don't know you are. So that we all get on along, and then there wouldn't be anything like broken homes or absentee fathers, and then we'll have people to look up to.
Wow. Thank you so much. Now, viewers, Jonathan, Pastor Francis, Michael, Willie, and Kwesi, and all that. Next week, the panelist doesn't know, but next week I'm having the same panelist. It's going to be Father's Day. And I think by that time we have also refilled, because there's a lot of questions. Because there are some fathers, they say that, oh, my son is not granting me access to my grandchildren. Okay, you were never a father to me. Now you want access? My God, listen, what emotional pain I went through for me to have my own children. Now you are blaming your son or your daughter that he or she is not granting you access to your grandchildren. We will look into it next week, Father's Day.
That one is blackmail. It's blackmail. Blackmail.
We will look into it.
That one is blackmail. They want to blackmail you.
They want to blackmail you.
To blackmail you to your children.
Well, I think Pastor Otabe will have a different view on that. I think so. Next week, the same panel, we are coming, and I believe that Father's Day we will finalize this topic. And I know that it has helped a lot of people. Just like the prodigal son, when he was coming back, he wasn't coming back to take a position. He came back as a broken child. He came back saying, "Listen, I don't even deserve." So I'm waiting for a father who will say, "Listen, son, I don't even deserve at this moment to even for you to hear my name or for you to call me a son. Listen, I don't even deserve to walk into your life. But listen to me. If you give me that chance, even to play a small role, that is all I need." The prodigal son said, "Listen, even if I to work with the maid servant, it's okay." So we are waiting for the father that will come in. And now, fathers, hear me. It mustn't be a marital home. Maybe you are married to another woman. That is okay. We are not saying walk into a home. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, walk into your child's life. That's what we are talking about. And walk in there with humility, with grace. and God will help you. And I want you to know that we stand in support in prayer. With this, we can also help the community. We fight crime. If you walk into your child's life, you fight children, teenage pregnancy, and all that. So, thank you all for our sponsors, Catprint, taking care of everything, and brought to you by KDM. And we thank everybody that is supporting us. And I would like to thank Pastor Edwin Otabel from US, and we'd like to thank Kwesi Duya from Catprint, the CEO, and then Fanny, my own cousin, my sister, and my own partner in crime from Home-Based TV. So I think she would judge me if I'm doing the presenting very well, because that's it. So then, viewers, shalom and God bless you. Prepare your questions for next week. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
Bless you.
Mhm.